Hi everyone, it's Rachel. Thanks for stopping by my channel. This week I'm sharing a weekly prep video and showing how I'm getting ready for our week ahead. I'm getting started by peeling some russet potatoes, and then I'm going to cut them in half and get them cut into little pieces. I just cut them in half and then cut them in fourths and then slice them up into thin little pieces. These will be fried potatoes, so I want to make sure that they're all about the same size. And then I'm just going to wash them up really good. And then I have my quart size mason jars on standby. I'm going to just fill up my jars with these potatoes, and I hear that you can keep these up to 5 days in your refrigerator, so later on in the week they will be all ready for me just to grab and save me a lot of time peeling potatoes when I'm ready to make dinner. This will come in handy because I'm still struggling with being able to stand for long periods of time because of my foot. But also when I go back to work, I think that this will be a practice that will save me some time after I get home from work and I need to make dinner. I can just grab my potatoes and they'll be ready to go. I feel like I will want to rinse them off again in a strainer before using them because I feel like there will be a lot of starch in the water. Although all of that I've read and that I've watched on YouTube, everybody says that you can use that potato water as vegetable stock. I don't know. That's, I guess, up to whoever is doing the cooking and the eating. But I will probably rinse them off again. So my potatoes are prepared for the week, and I did have to move to my table. Here I have some blueberries in a mixture of water and white vinegar. I'm going to dry them on a towel and just let them air dry, and do the same with some strawberries. And basically everything is going to get a wash in that water and vinegar mixture here. I'm just giving them a little I don't know what I'm doing here, just moving them around, I guess. I could have used a bigger bowl, I guess, but you know how I am. I like to crowd everything in together. And here is the dirt and the gross stuff that came off of those berries. So always make sure that you're washing your strawberries and any of your produce really good before you eat it, because that is what came off of those. So I did have to let these sit for quite a while before they were dry enough to go into the jars. You want to make sure that you're not putting really wet berries into the jars. And so I'm just filling this little pint size jar with the blueberries because that is what I bought. And I know that in my family, I am pretty much the only one that eats blueberries, so these will be ready to go for like snacking or for overnight oats or just to put in my Greek yogurt. And so that'll be very convenient. It's already washed and they should keep for a longer time than if I had just put them right into the fridge. And so I opted to cut off the leaves off of my strawberries before putting them in the jars, just to make them even more convenient for my family to grab and snack. And you know, that way I'm not finding those little green leaves laying around on my counter because, you know, I have boys in the house and that's what they do. We'll just be real here. So anyway, I am just putting as many as I can get into these jars. I did buy 2 of the containers of strawberries, so it did take about 3 jars for the strawberries. I do want to mention that I have a lot of mason jars, but not very many lids, and I was having a hard time finding any in stock that I could order. And so I did end up getting the white plastic lids, and I figure since these are just going into the refrigerator, then that's what I would use. But I didn't get that many of them, so you will see me using a variety of different lids, kind of just what I have on hand. And the Christmas lid does make a reappearance in this video. And aside from the time that it takes for the berries to dry, that process does go pretty quickly. So next, I'm just getting this red onion peeled and chopped up. I'm just going to put this in a small jar so that it's ready when I'm cooking. And I need some onion for something. We like to have the red or purple onions. I call them purple. I know that a lot of people call them red, and that's probably what they are. But if you hear me call them purple, it's just because that's what they are to me in my brain. And so that will probably never change. Anyway, I am getting that peel off and I'm getting them chopped up and into one of the pints. I guess that would be, I don't know, is it half pint or a pint? I don't know, one of the smaller jars. And we do like to have these on our salads and things like that. And so I'm going to chop up like 3 different types of onions in this video. And that way they're just ready to go when we need them. Again, that will save me a few minutes here and there when I'm in the kitchen cooking dinner. Normally, if I prep anything ahead of time, I would put it in a zip top baggie and then put it in my fridge, and then everything kind of gets mushed or smushed together, and you're fishing through all these bags to find stuff. And I just kind of want to get away from using so many plastic bags, and I like that the jars fit in my refrigerator nice and neatly, and I can see what's in every jar just by moving them around a little. So next, I am getting a yellow onion chopped up, and I'm telling you, by this time I was really crying. Like, all these onions were making me tear up a little. And I know there's lots of tricks and everything, but you know, I was having a hard enough time just gathering up all of my stuff and getting everything where I needed it to be. I had to ask the kids to get things that I forgot and whatnot. But I did have to like sit down in a chair at the table and do this prep, and that's okay. Do what you have to do to get things done. That's the whole reason that I'm doing it, is because I need the extra help, and I thought this would be a great way to have our produce did I say produce? I don't know. But anyway, just to have it right there and ready. And then, you know, my husband's not saying, hey, do we have an onion? Hey, do we have this or that? And I can tell somebody, you know, will you grab me the onions? And they'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And my little veggie chopper just really made that a really simple task. It went super quick, and you know, there's no need to do anything extra there. So if you have one of those, make sure you're utilizing it. And so another thing that I like to have ready to go is lettuce, and that way I have it, you know, here shredded for tacos or for burgers or just for salads. And I gave this lettuce a quick rinse in the sink and then peeled off the outer layers, and then just figured that I could wash it again as I was using it, you know, whatever I do grab out of here. I just wasn't really sure which was the best way to go about it. If you have any suggestions, I would appreciate if you let me know in the comments. How do you store your lettuce? I just didn't want to put really soggy wet lettuce into my container. I was kind of feeling like I wanted it to be dry and not wet. I'm not really sure. Just tell me if you know. And this food saver container, my daughter got it for me for Mother's Day last year, I believe, and it's really great for marinating meat in it, or hoping that it's going to be really good for keeping this lettuce nice and fresh. I just snapped on the lid, and then I just used the little vacuum tool here and sucked out all of the air, and that's it. Now, if my husband or my kids take lettuce out of here before I do, then it'll be a done deal, because I'm sure they won't use this little gadget and suction out the air, but that's okay. We will probably use this up within the week. And then next I'm just chopping off the ends off of these green onions, and then I just turned them around and got the little hairy part off. I'm going to chop these up and put them in another jar, and we will see if they keep any longer than they do when I just put them in the fridge, because this is something that I lose every single time I buy them. We just don't use them up fast enough, because I don't always feel like chopping them up, or the green part just goes brown really quickly for me. I am not sure what I do wrong with these. I've put them in water before, but I saw somebody just put them in a jar like this and say that they last longer. So we will see. I'm not sure about this one, but I'm going to trust it. Okay, so even though we're not big on snacking on carrots, we do like them if they're cooked in recipes. So here I am just getting the ends chopped off of them, and I am going to just get them chopped up really small so that they're ready to go when I want to throw them into a stir fry or a soup or a stew or something like that. And I washed these carrots up really good, but I did not bother to peel them this time because it was just doing too much, in my opinion. So I just left the peel on and just got them into my food chopper and diced them into little chunks. Then I added them into the quart size mason jars, and then filled them up with some filtered water, and then put the lid on, and that is that. And again, I did hear people say that you can use the water from these carrots in your recipes as a vegetable broth. Not sure that I would do it. Let me know if it's something that you have tried. I'm just not a big fan of carrots, but I'm going to try to incorporate them into more of our meals in the upcoming week. And here's a really easy one. And like I said, the Christmas jar has made a comeback. And I'm just putting some cilantro into this jar. This is kind of easy because my husband washed it and chopped it up last week, and we will probably use this up really quickly. But I just wanted to get that into a better container than that little plastic bag that he had it all stuffed into. In the video that I watched, they put folded up paper towels into some of these jars to collect condensation, but I don't really buy paper towels that often, and I didn't have any at the time, so we are not doing that this time. And here I am just chopping up some bell peppers and getting them into workable pieces so that I can use my food chopper and get them chopped into little bite-sized pieces. And I'm just going to do a mixture of the red and green bell peppers in some of the jars. And because I end up with a jar that's kind of half filled, I go ahead and chop up my remaining red onion and then make a mixture of bell peppers and onions in another jar. I know that these are ingredients that I reach for very often throughout the week, and that these will get used up pretty quickly. And I know that I have made so many comments over time how much I love this veggie chopper. It just makes everything just kind of go a lot quicker when it comes to chopping up my veggies and fruits. And like the carrots, celery is another food that we don't like to eat raw. We do like it when it's cooked and is added to other recipes. So I have just washed up my celery stalks and I'm getting them into my food chopper and getting them chopped up into small pieces. I will put them in a jar with some water because celery is basically water. You know, I think there's I read something like celery is water with a hair in it, or with a hair or something like that. Pretty funny. But anyway, kind of true. And I'm just getting them chopped up so that they're in small pieces. And again, I can add them to stir fries or other things like soups, ramen, you know, all that fun stuff. And then, you know, they said that you could also drink the water from the celery. I guess some people do drink celery water, so I guess if that's something you like, then that's an option for you. It's not an option for me, but oh well. And next I am doing something that I do not enjoy at all, which is cutting a watermelon. And I do have one of those handy watermelon cutting tools, but I am not really sure how to use it. And the one time that I did try to use it, it was a disaster. So I guess I need to do a little bit more research. And for now, I'm just going to use a knife and just kind of literally butcher this watermelon. So don't mind me if my cuts are all weird and wrong, but as long as I get some of this watermelon into the jars, then I am happy. And having watermelon already chopped up and ready to go is something that I know my husband will just be over the moon about because he loves watermelon, and usually he's the one that buys it and he's the one that cuts it because I don't like it. And I don't like to cut watermelon or any kind of melon for that matter. And so then usually there's a mess and then I get to clean that up, or, you know, I mean, he does try, but then there's that whole hassle of finding a container to put the leftover watermelon that didn't get cut up, because I swear he never cuts the whole thing up, maybe just half of it. And then that half a watermelon will get put into a bowl, and then we'll cover it with some foil or plastic wrap, which never stays on the melon. And so then your refrigerator, it just has all kinds of stuff going on in it. So anyway, long story short, I really feel like this will make the whole watermelon eating process a whole lot more enjoyable, cleaner, and more convenient for everyone. And there we go. I did end up getting 3 full jars of chunked up watermelon. And that's it. Now it's time to get it all put away. I have a couple jars of sliced up potatoes, my container of lettuce, and then I have my 3 different kinds of onions, the red or purple and the white onions, or yellow. I think they're yellow onions. And then also my green onions, my jar of carrots, which I promise I'm going to use, as well as that jar of celery. And I also had to make a little bit of room, so I moved my lettuce up and moved my cheese up one shelf as well. Added in those peppers and the onion and pepper mixture. I had a jar of dill pickle slices that needed to go in there, so those are going in. I didn't make those, of course, they are store-bought. And I have my couple jars of strawberries and then my 3 jars of watermelon. I did plan on showing you how to make some or just, sharing with you the process of making overnight oats and having those ready in my fridge, but I ran out of steam, I ran out of juice, and that didn't get done, but that's okay because that's real life, and, just do what you can, even if it's 1 jar of onions or peppers or whatever helps you throughout your following week. There is no such thing as perfection in my world. Some days I feel like I get a little bit ahead and then I've got my life together, and then some days I have a ticket on the Hot Mess Express. That's okay. That's just real life. Anyway, that is it for this video. I'm so glad you came around and watched it. If you liked it, please hit the subscribe button so that you can see my future videos. Bye for now.